How to lose weight. Throughout the years, weight loss has been one of the most researched subjects. However, despite everything we've learned in the last couple of decades, weight loss is still a very confusing subject. When you try diet after diet, program after program, and get no results, it's crazy to think that the media could be the main contributing factor to why we are not getting the results we're looking for. Needless to say, it's easy to see how somebody could be very confused. But it doesn't have to be this way. Right, let's get right to it. The order in which I rank these tips is getting from least to greatest. Okay, so the most important thing is energy expenditure. Now, what's energy expenditure, you might ask? Okay, well, basically, it's a calorie deficit where you're constantly eating below maintenance calories it can be anywhere from permanently for the rest of your life to a couple months. Now, when you're doing the actual deficit, you don't want to go anywhere below 200 calories for the first couple of maybe even up to 3 months. Because if you do this too fast, you're just gonna slow down your metabolism to the point where it compensates for you not putting in enough calories. So basically just halts everything, your whole metabolism, and makes you gain weight because you're not eating enough. It's your body's own way of retaining its weight, I guess. So the way to battle this is to just take it slowly, focus more on burning more calories through cardio or just moving in general, and stick to a low deficit over a given estimated time. And remember, the most important thing is to be patient. It's not gonna happen over a couple weeks. It's gonna be a long progress. Now keep in mind, if you are off by a couple of calories and you're in a slight surplus if you're not checking right, even gaining 0.5 pounds per week can lead to over 20 pounds in a year. So you need to be tracking every single thing, because likewise, losing 0.5 pounds per week can lead to a 20-pound loss weight in a year. Now, if some of you guys that are on the higher weight of the scale, you're gonna have to focus on maybe slightly lower the deficit. So say 500, and so that would drastically reduce, amplify the amount of weight you lose throughout the year. Now, yeah, that's it for the first tip. Now, moving on to the second. Okay, so the second most important thing is a higher protein consumption. Now, I know there's a whole thing going on right now how higher protein diets are linked to kidney disease, and yes, it can be true, but only if you have pre-existing kidney disease and or relatives that have kidney disease. And if this is the case, just a simple metabolic blood panel can rule out any sort of kidney disease. So yeah, you can get checked if you feel like you're at risk. Now, let's assume that you have zero health problems, you feel great, have no relatives or anything with kidney disease. Then a higher protein diet is perfectly fine for you. It's gonna have zero side effects. If anything, just a little bit like extra gas, but if you're losing weight, that's just a sacrifice you're gonna have to deal with. Now, the actual benefits you can expect from a higher protein diet. So the number one thing is decreased fat to muscle ratio. So basically, you're gonna have less fat and more muscle mass. Now, it's not gonna make you look like you lift weights or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. It'll help replace some of the fat under the tissue with more muscle mass. And other benefits you can expect is increased metabolism so basically what I mean by that is more bowel movements a day, etc., etc. And perhaps the most important thing is feeling fuller. Now, why is this so important? Because if you're eating at a constant calorie deficit, you're gonna be hungry regardless of what you're doing. But now with a higher protein consumption, you can potentially feel less hungry, and so therefore sticking to a diet for a longer time, or maybe even permanently. So this is a super important piece of advice. It'll help you feel fuller, and yeah. Okay, so the third piece of advice is weight training. Now, I'm not gonna go too into detail with this one, but I know a lot of people are scared of weight training because they think that they'll get all buff and stuff, but that's not the case. You can just lift moderate weight training. You don't have to constantly overload, but the more muscle mass you have, like I said, the less fat you're gonna have. So apart from this, the more muscle you have, the higher metabolism you're also gonna have. So therefore, you're gonna burn more calories without even moving. Just your day-to-day expenditure without, let's assume that I'm sitting in this chair for the rest of the day. I'm gonna burn more calories if I have a higher muscle mass than if I didn't. So yeah, you're gonna want to focus on weight training. Just focus on the compound lifts. If you don't care too much for actually looking strong, just focus on the compound lifts, and that's gonna get you the most amount of muscle mass under your tissue. So yeah. Alright, so this last tip is a mix of other things. So you want to focus on, if you're healthy and you don't mind it, caffeine and stimulants. Now, if you're already taking stimulants such as you have ADHD or something like that, and you're taking Ritalin or ADHD, you do not need to have any caffeine. But let's just assume you're not taking anything, or you are taking caffeine. Very well, just keep taking the amount that you're taking. Just be wary that it can increase your risk for cardiac arrest and heart attacks and strokes, whatnot. But as long as you stick to a decent dose, don't overdo it, it's gonna be fine. And what benefits can you experience from this? Basically your metabolism is gonna be on overdrive, so you're gonna burn more calories without having to do anything. Just sitting down, you're gonna burn a little bit more calories than the next person next to you. Now, as far as supplements, what other supplements? I wouldn't recommend literally anything. Just as far as weight loss goes, I wouldn't recommend anything. Everything you see, L-carnitine, that's, yeah, marginal gains. But at this point, just to get started with weight loss, that's what you should be using at the very end, if anything. You can very well lose everything you need to lose without having to use supplements or anabolic steroids, etc. But the one thing that could be recommended is protein shakes, protein powder, depending on your case. If you can just get by with having an extra grilled chicken or some sort of lean protein at the end of the day, by all means go that route. But if you're running short of time or something, just add in 1 to 2 scoops a day. 1 to 2 shakes a day. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'm steadily increasing the quality of production of my videos. And if you guys enjoyed this video by any means, please make sure to drop a sub. I'm gonna be going way further into my edits, so hopefully I can start producing some nice videos. Alright, see y'all, guys.